Okay, I got the notification. Now I'll just wait for the web browser to catch up after the ad. Alright, so welcome guys to episode 8 of Hear Me Out. Title is called Street Fighter V Season 2 Retrospective. Um, T-Risk will take it from here and explain what the topic means, and you will hear him out, you will hear me out, and if anyone comes into chat, we'll answer all your questions as much as we can possible. And yeah, take it away, T-Risk.
Alright, let's get started, people. Like Nelson said, this is Hear Me Out episode 8, and it's going to be a retrospective on Street Fighter V's current state right now, and I guess state of it will be in the upcoming months with the next patch. What is the next patch, by the way?
They said that they might try to do it as of early March, from what I'm
Okay.
hearing.
Okay. So this is right on time. I couldn't get to do this topic last week, even though last week Thursday I believe was the birthday of Street Fighter V, basically when,
Mm-hmm.
when it was released.
Right.
But I decided to do a different topic. I didn't think so many people would be doing this sort of topic. I thought it would just go under the radar. But with I believe like Vespa Arcade, and I heard Maximilian say some of this stuff on a stream a couple days before it about
Mm-hmm.
like the state of affairs. So I might as well talk about it as well. So I hope you guys take the time to hear me out on this. Okay, so Nelson, how do you think Street Fighter V is doing lately?
I think it's alright because people are still learning the characters and they're still getting used to, the new Season 2 patch because a lot of people are finicky about the changes. They're going back and forth between like, oh, some characters got it good, some characters don't. Some people within different regions of the world are exploring the game in a much more greater depth where it may change things around. So I say right now it's in an okay stage. If for the few exceptions of certain characters being overwhelmingly strong, especially if the player knows what they're doing with these specific characters.
Right, I also kind of agree with you on that much as well. I believe most of the complaints are coming from like lower end players. Like they're just there's going to be characters that are lower end player killers.
Mm-hmm.
Like in general, like I think Akuma might be one of those. I think Urian might be one of those, and for some time, it was Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And despite the fact that Charlie was not just good at uh, killing people that didn't quite understand the game so well as a competitive killer, is
Mm-hmm.
why it was necessary to like normalize him a bit. And I think that's going to happen to a couple of the characters, not as many as people might think. Come the next patch, like I think it might be two or three at most that get a a incredible downgrade, if anything. I would love to see them be boosted up, though.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Shouts to Sleepy Jim. He's in the chat right now.
Yes, he is.
All right, but where was I going with this? Yeah, I believe the game is in a good place as far as its competitive nature is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
As far as it being a video game, it has quite a few ways to go. Like some people will still say that arcade mode is still necessary, and
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't even know anymore. I think the damage has already been done there when it comes to keeping people that was going to play arcade mode to be invested in continuing to play the game. Uh, I've seen around, like, some people have said it best. They only play this game because their friends are playing it, or it's the game that everyone has. And I think this is a similar situation with us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, we have various other fighting games that we would love to play, but Street Fighter is pretty much the only one that we all have.
For the majority of our viewers and for the community, it seems like Street Fighter in general, it's not like subjecting to just five, but Street Fighter 4, Third Strike, CVS,
Mm-hmm.
anything Capcom related, the majority of people have when it
Yeah,
comes to you know.
it's very easy to come by when it comes to a Capcom fighter. Somebody's going to have that. Be it Marvel, be it a crossover game of some sort, or just the newest Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely agree with you there. Uh, how do you think of it as a game right now? Like, as a video game, and not just a tool for competition?
As a video game, it's still missing a lot of stuff that it could have. I feel like it needs more of more menus, more gameplay, more content, more variety of modes in order for it to become a complete gaming package as a casual player to possibly want to pick up one day. And it just seems like the story mode seems to be left unfinished because we have brand new characters coming in now. We don't know if they're going to make a part two or just make that story mode longer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a lot of things.
Yeah. Uh, that that does bring a good question. Like, do you think it was a poor choice? Like, say if they extend the story mode to
Mm-hmm.
a season two story mode, it's probably going to focus on these new characters rather than what was previously, like, established. Do you think it's a bit too early for that?
No, it's not.
All right, I kind of disagree there because, like, I kind of feel like they were trying to push people to Third Strike, and they were so close. And now, assuming that these characters are just brand new characters,
Mm-hmm.
and not what we may have seen from uh, leaks or images where people seem like they got it right the first time for months.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming they're new characters, like this might push that back a bit more, and that seems like it'll be highly unnecessary. People really want to see the the bridge between what Street Fighter Two to Third Strike was, and we kind of had that with this game because Ultra Street Fighter Four was more of a Gaiden type of game. Like, it fits in the series, but at the same time, it really did no favors when it came to the continuation between Street Fighter Two to Street Fighter Three.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a lot of like iffy things right now when they're trying to, how would you say, force certain things upon certain people to try to move on with the times, trying to take people's nostalgia away of only wanting to play like what they thought was the best possible version of Street Fighter or any fighting game or game for that matter. Um, do I feel like people was forced to play Street Fighter 5? No. It's an option because you have other fighters. You have Street Fighter 4 that people still play. Is it forced as of competitive play? Yes, because Ultra Street Fighter 4 is not making many appearances no more. And a lot of people kind of still want it around in a sense because they feel too comfortable with it. And they're not trying to go and stray away from something that they're already good at.
Yeah, it was around for what, 8 years?
Something like that.
Like focused, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. Because it was out since 2008, and then it died in what 2016.
Yeah, around there.
So it was
it pretty much died the moment that it wasn't coming to Capcom Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm. That's but we'll see. I mean, things do change sporadically. People may just like bring it back just for, side tournaments. You never know, but
we're seeing quite a resurgence of that lately. Like, I would say we're only seeing Tatsunoko versus Capcom because people swear that game is what Marvel Infinite is going to play like.
Maybe. I mean, no one really knows for right now because, they showed a couple of characters being in play in full motion, but we have yet to see how the mechanics work. We haven't seen nothing new of a trailer for a while.
Yeah, and I think we're not going to see anything like that until is it Tokyo Game Show first or is it E3?
It's E3, then Tokyo Game Show.
Alright, they'll probably see you around E3. There's I don't see any new sort of Marvel event coming around where it's going to be absolutely necessary to tie something in.
Yeah, I just know for my knowledge right now that they're just mainly focused on Street Fighter 5 as of like a company. They're not really focused too much on Marvel Infinite as much as people would like, because that is something new and that's something that people want to see.
Yeah, I think they're either keeping a very, very tight lip on it or they're just not ready to show anything.
Right. What's going on, Playboy? This is a segment that T-Risk has been doing for like the past 8 weeks now.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So just listen in and you could speak on it. But it's a little iffy that I'm in my opinion. It's just I don't like when everyone just floats around to the same fucking game. I would like to have people play other games to give other franchises opportunities. Like we already have Tekken, we have KOF, we have Guilty Gear, we have Blaze Blue, we have Dead or Alive 5, Ultimate Marvel, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat X. Injustice
2 coming out soon. You have a bunch of these fucking games and no one really like cared to play anything outside of that. There's a shit ton of anime fighters that are fucking ridiculous. And there's a couple of non-anime titles that are just regular fighting games that people don't really play anymore at all. Like KI died. Like for people who don't want to hear that, KI died. And that game has not shown any promise in any recent major of the upcoming late.
Yeah, it's only relevant in its own community, it seems.
Yep, and for people who don't know, KI has its own World Cup, which is like the Evo for KI. They have side tournaments as specific events, and there's also some events within in my area, as far as I know, in New York. They hold tournaments at the Microsoft Store, which is streamed on both Twitch and Beam. So,
yeah, who is the Playboy? You say it's lies, but yet this is episode 8.
Yeah, I mean you've never watched an episode, I'm assuming, so.
If anything, it's probably 9 weeks due to the pilot.
Yeah, if you want to count the pilot.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to his rambling and yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I definitely agree with you there about KI, and its its tournament is pretty much just its version of the Capcom Pro Tour,
Mm-hmm.
just on a much smaller scale it seems, and it's rather unfortunate that Microsoft really doesn't push that game as much as it should.
Mm-hmm. It's true, but Microsoft is not really concentrating on fighting games. If you haven't realized, like they just
Oh,
said, "Fuck it."
I've realized with like after you explained to me there's only what 2 or 3 fighting games on there.
Yeah, as far as I
Uh,
can tell, yeah.
it's what it's Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat X, and Dead or Alive. Are those
And
the only
Blaze
three?
Blue.
And Blaze Blue. And look, you had to remind me of that. I didn't even know Blaze Blue was on Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's get back to the subject that was on hand. Uh, what do you think that could be added for like a non-competitive aspect to Street Fighter Five that'll like help this year? Like maybe like one
Non-competitive.
or two things.
Non-competitive.
Yeah. Like would you like to see an extension to the story mode or a
I. Hmm. I would like to see online training mode.
okay?
I would like to see that because that does help a lot of people learn faster when there's like a actual person talking to you instead of you watching videos, and you can learn a lot faster. That's how I learned a lot in Ultra Street Fighter 4 and previous alliterations. Second thing I would want that's non-competitive is probably we already have survival. I don't know. I would love to see like World Tour again, where you get to select your favorite fighter, level up the character, get specific strengths for them, and then have a mode specifically where you can fight with them online.
Yeah, it sounds like a cross between the original World Tour mode and also what was it? The Heroes and Heralds mode in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate.
Repeat that question one more time.
I said it sounds like what you're asking about is World Tour mode, like the
Mm-hmm.
original one,
Mm-hmm.
and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3's Heroes and Heralds mode.
In a sense, but Heroes and Heralds mode was like mad fucking random. It was like you randomly get cards, you randomly get this, you randomly get that. In World
Yeah,
Tour,
but
everything
you was
is
also able
structured.
to play online as well, weren't you?
Yes, you can have online fights and use the cards or whatever you've obtained to do wacky, weird shit with the character that you normally would not be able to do.
Okay. We have Sleepy Jim here saying a Double Dragon type mode with characters. You mean like a Final Fight mode? Is that what you're talking about, or is it more like what you're seeing on stream here, which is the credits to Street Fighter EX3? Okay, I'll wait for an answer in a sec. Uh, for me, I would like to see I would like to see Team Battle mode return, like the elimination mode that the Street Fighter 4 had,
Right. That sounds pretty interesting.
and similar to you, I want a mode that'll teach me how to play the game and teach me how to do the things I see the the pros do,
Mm-hmm.
and I want a combo uploader. I want like I want the ability to have somebody like record the combo that they do,
Mm-hmm.
like on a dummy in trainer mode, and
Mm-hmm.
upload it as a custom like combo to do like trial style. where it tells me this is what I have to do. These are the buttons I need to press, and it has the player's recording of their inputs to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I could just either go through a process of having a schedule of a primer of bread and butters that I should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
or I could set it to repeat and practice that one particular combo over and over until I got it.
So more
And,
like a user trial mode where people
right.
could upload their own usage of combos and you get to well, shit, if we had that, that would more likely make everyone a fucking ridiculous player because everyone would know the same tech.
That or probably never want to upload anything.
Yeah, because that literally, some players are very finicky about giving away other
Their
combos and
their
their tech.
abilities and like exactly.
Yeah, some people, not everyone is like that. Everyone thinks differently in the community, but I prefer helping people because at the end
I
of the day, you're gonna do your own thing regardless. You know.
I think it would be a good tool for the people that create lesson plans for people during the online training modes.
That. Mm,
Because
let me see if I could put more onto that. Then, I would like the same thing what you just said of the user input thing for trials, but I would like it for it to either be public or a private thing where I get to share it to a user if
right,
they ask for it, and then they can learn that. Yeah, that would be so much better if it was built like that.
yeah, because I would love if like I believe Gutex did lessons in Street Fighter 4, like private lessons.
He still does that now. A lot of
Still
people,
does that now.
yeah. Gutex, Mike Ross, Flo, Justin, and two other people still do the lessons.
Right, I would love to have like a session online training where he teaches me, and then he gives me a series of combos to do, and come back like in the next 2 or 3 days or something like that. He wants me to do the combos that he gave me,
Mm-hmm.
and see how well I could do them. See if I could do them clean as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a helpful tool. Because, like you, I want to see just the community improve.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there that play these games online that if they had the ability to go out there, they would wow people with some of the stuff that they have learned.
Mm-hmm.
And Slinky Jim says here that yeah, he would have wanted a mode like the stream, like the credits.
Like an ending credits like they did for Devil May Cry. They did it for
Yeah,
this game, a few other games. That's like a little mini game. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't say no to it. It'll be something for people to do.
yeah, and it would probably take about as much as the what is it? Where the Hado mode in Ultimate Street Fighter 2 that they have now.
Mm-hmm. You know what they could do? This is just my opinion. Do you remember Tekken Force Mode from Tekken
Yes,
3?
yeah, I do, I do.
Have that as the ending.
Would be nice. Uh, Again, like a final fight mode for Street Fighter.
Mode for fighting games like a streamer mode and a combo upload feature. Yeah, in a sense,
Yeah,
that's what we was talking about.
yeah. I want to be able to improve my game any way possible. Like, um, some of the stuff that I learned for Chun-Li at a time when I was doing it was from a video series from Shein, and
Mm-hmm.
I just practiced it for a while and constantly had to keep like replaying the video and replaying the video just to see what he was doing, just to hear the button combinations that he wanted me to do
Mm-hmm.
until I got it down. And I thought this would be so much easier if the game could just do this for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the features that I've wanted in a fighting game for quite some time. And had I donated to Skullgirls and like was able to get on the, I think they had private forum, did they?
At one point, yeah.
I was going to suggest that at the time.
Okay, that would have been nice, but I doubt that they're gonna go that hard to make it easier for the viewer for the experience in itself. Like the most I could see that they're doing for this game is like online training mode, possibly like a tournament mode where it's like an actual tournament style, where
Right.
it does like 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5. Fix the input delay, fix the latency for online, possibly. Like those are something that they may be more focused on. Out
Yeah,
of the stuff we
general
mentioned,
quality of life stuff.
yeah, the stuff that we mentioned is like a fucking pipe dream. It's something that
Exactly,
we want,
exactly.
but will never fucking come to fruition.
Correct. Now I'm gonna get to like what is actually probably on people's minds, and is what would you change competitively?
About well, like what 2 changes?
Just in general, like go as long as you want with the changes to a character or something.
Competitive change in a
Yeah,
tournament. Fuck, that's kind of a hard thing.
it could be a general change of like overall damage output, or it could be a character specific thing. It doesn't matter.
So if you just mean
Yeah,
like a direct change in general,
yeah, direct change, just
I would
anything.
want. This is just my opinion. This will never fucking happen because these are how fighting games are made. And I know that for a fact. But I would like for everyone to have the same damage output for specific moves. So let's say, for an example, if characters have uppercuts, they should all take the same damage or do the same output. If certain people do fireballs, same thing. If people do fiercest attacks, it should be the same damage. Everything should be the same damage as like you pick one character. So let's say if you pick Ryu, and that's the base model for your damage output, map it across the fucking board. If that super does 500 damage, that super does 500 damage, and everyone has the same health. But again, that's not going to happen because they make the game specifically so characters are stronger in particular fields and some characters are weaker in particular fields, and that's what makes the game diverse. That will never happen. So that's just
Right.
something I would
That
like.
sounds a bit KOF ish. Like, like, don't they all have the same amount of health?
I'm not too sure. I will have to look into that. I haven't really played
But
KOF hard like
I
that.
think of Killer Instinct then.
Killer Instinct has a lot of similar comeback features with every character, which is why any character in the game has an opportunity as long as you know what you're doing. More or less the same way in Third Strike. You had mechanics that basically made any character a threat as long as you knew how to parry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Street Fighter V is not like that. Everyone has like a unique trait that favors for them. So
Right.
it's a little iffy, but I don't know. It's like what I would like to change, like for something that we did not speak about, is in Killer Instinct, you're forced to do 2 out of 3 matches. You're forced. You can't choose to leave or not.
This again. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I would
Continue
want,
going.
since there's first to 2 in Street Fighter V, you should be forced to go through the matches once you reach a certain plateau. Like I can say you're given the okay excuse to do it from rookie to maybe silver. Once you hit silver, you're forced to doing these matches.
I think you should do it from Ultra Bronze.
You should, but again, not many casual people is gonna take kindly to it because they're like, oh man, I don't want to play for so fucking long and blah blah blah. Some people get tired and lazy and shit. Me,
People
I
already
would.
complain about like it takes forever to get a match. You might as well do both.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, you should just make it 2 out of 3 across the fucking board, no matter what your rank is. So you give the person an opportunity to fucking win,
Right.
and they can study your matches and stuff like that. What I also would like, um, when the match is over, said and done, you did you won your 2 games. There should be a rematch option to fight the same player in ranked, which should be optional. And if you do that, to wager your points, like double or nothing.
Right. Like a fight money match or something.
Pretty much, but you're just risking your ranking points more or less, and you should be able to have like a rematch to favor. But it would be over spammed and used if the person's like an idiot and they will just lose all their fucking points. So I would just be like maybe just 2 times for the opposing side. So let's say for an example, I won the first 2, and then you rematch me for double or nothing, and then you beat me. Then I have the chance to do it 1 time myself, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just thinking way over fucking board to the point where people may be iffy about it.
I think the simplest way to do it is like, okay, ranked match, you have to do the 2 out of 3. Casual match, you can leave.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
Okay.
with that. Makes perfect sense.
Alright. Just look at the chat here real quick. Doesn't seem to be anything at the moment.
Slinky Jim stepped out last time I checked. So.
Yeah. Yeah. By all means, Playboy, if you have something to say, you could say it. Okay. For me, actually, wait. How does Guilty Gear's health system work? Because I know there's like some sort of gut system. What is that, like your defense or something like that?
I think so. Like, I haven't been playing Guilty Gear in a long time. I just know like their health system has a lot of iffy things with it because you can get damage really fucking quick, and then you could get normal damage. Like let's say when you both hit each other at the same time and you do that clash, and it does that like countdown shit, and then when it says go, you get double damage done to you in that state of mode. And I think you have like 10 seconds to fight it out in that mode, and then it can go in anyone's favor. You also have things where you can break the person's guard and then do more damage on top of that. And then of course you have like the instant death moves where if you land it, it's instant death. So it's very different. Like a lot of different games have like different health bars. Like Darkstalkers, your health bar goes down completely. You jump right into the second round. So that's how it goes. So you technically have 2 life bars, and they don't like take a pause to load in another preset for like a clean slate match for distance. You just start from where you died, just like in KI.
Yeah, and I thought that was one of the most interesting parts about that game.
You know, and a lot of people still like it to this day because it's a very smooth, clean fighter when it comes to like linking normals and stuff.
And it seems very simple on the surface, but it's rather difficult to master when you get at a very high competitive level.
Yes, that is true.
Okay. Let's see. For me, I just want more things that will make characters fun. Like I think for like say for Amika, that rope swing move that she has, I think she should have that as a special move, so that it would justify that its speed. But the EX version of it should be able to have the original properties of having an invisible wall, so that you could still do some of her kind of crazy shenanigans, but she can't go overboard with it.
Let's think about that. You would only have 3 super bar meters. You can only use it during the EX. You would have to purposely build up meter in order for you to use the move. In a sense, it can still be over abused if the person like gets that one combo where it's like guaranteed death. So it may be a iffy thing. Let's see. Did they ever have a stamina in a top fighter?
Stamina in the top fighter. Uh I know there was another fighting game besides Mortal Kombat that had stamina, but
The
the name
stamina
of
as
it,
in like running? Like you have like a meter for you to like run or something like that? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Mm,
And not necessarily like a stamina for your attacks or whatever.
I don't think there's any other game that did that besides MK. To my knowledge, I don't see anything else doing that.
I feel like there was another one like back then. Oh, for everything, for everything. Then definitely
Where you
not.
tire? No. There's not a game like that. There's not again
Uh,
not a game like that that I can tell. I mean, there's certain characters like I can tell you right now, if we was to keep watching this EX3 footage, if you picked a character named Kyrie, and you did his meteor combo, which is like his level 3 super, he gets worn out and his energy drains almost to near complete death. So that's like a move in itself. Like it has a drawback to it, but as of like a overall character getting like weaker and weaker and weaker as time went on, probably the older wrestling games like WrestleMania 2000 or WWF No Mercy that had a stamina thing where to the point that the longer you fought, the more sluggish your character has gotten. Same thing like in Fight Night.
yeah, the more simulation fighters have that,
Mm-hmm.
but like the traditional 2D or 3D fighters, not necessarily.
No, as just when you exert energy.
No, no,
No.
I can't
Mm-mm.
remember.
I don't think like any game has done that. Like I said, like the WWF games for like the Nintendo 64 is a perfect example when you do certain moves, after a while your character would just get weak and groggy and they'll start holding their limbs and they'll start walking instead of like rushing towards you all the time. That's like one game I can say that had that dynamic feature. Same thing with like boxing games in general, where
Yeah,
if you throw all your powerful swing moves and whatnot, you'll just deplete all your stamina and your punches will get weaker.
yeah, you can't gas yourself in those games, else you won't be able to go a distance of the fight.
UFC is another one. That's another game that had
Hmm.
that feature. But it's not a fighting game like what we play today. That's like a real simulated fighter. That's not like Street Fighter or fucking Marvel or
Yeah, yeah. What I call by traditional fighters, I mean like a Street Fighter, like a Marvel, like a Guilty Gear, like a Tekken.
mm-hmm.
Like Tekken has characters like Monarch who throw you and are able to do follow ups like an MMA fighter does, but he doesn't get gassed from it.
Mm-hmm.
And games like DOA has Milia and what's his name? Bass and what's the other guy's name? But whatever, they're wrestler type characters, and they don't get gassed.
No, you got Bayman, Leon,
Baby,
Bass.
yes, that's the one I was thinking of. He does all sorts of chain attacks on you, and he doesn't get gassed.
Yeah, there's
You
a
can do
lot
that
of
forever until you're dead,
there's a
and
lot
you'll
of
never tire
fighters.
out.
A lot of fighters have that same property. That's why like fighting games are so fun because you're playing a unrealistic version of a fighter where you will just have infinite stamina and you don't tire. More or
Yeah,
less, just like you physically, the person controlling the character will get tired, depending on how far you go within the distance.
right. And like the closest thing I can think that comes to mind of that really isn't a fighter or really isn't a simulation fighter would be Smash Bros. With its stale moves. And that is you just keep throwing out the same move over and over, and eventually its damage will decrease, but its speed, its frames, its everything else, that's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're looking for an example like that, that's the best thing I can give you right now in terms of something that is close.
Right. Right. It's definitely hard to emulate that in actual other traditional fighters. It's not something that people want all the time. So
Yeah,
it's iffy. Maybe in
like
the future, but
yeah, for as much as people complain about some stuff in a fighting game, you will hear way more complaints if, like, I don't know, Saturday Night Slam Masters decides it's going to take from simulation wrestling games and have the characters tire out.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
These games are already as difficult as they are with various other techniques going on. Than to have that as an extra layer for the common man to deal with.
That's true.
Do you have any more questions, Slinky? Because I really don't have much else to say about this topic, so I might decide to wrap this up right now.
Yeah, we're 41 minutes in.
Right. Like, I did mention earlier today that I want Alex to have some of the fun stuff that he had in Tatsunoko versus Capcom. He had a machine gun flash chop. When you held down the heavy flash chop, it did like 10 hits instead of one.
Yes, yes.
Uh, he had for his heavy slash elbow, it did a wall bounce, and
Yes.
I think that's a decent property to put on it for his EX. And his stomp, it had OTG properties. It wasn't the most useful thing in the world,
Mm-mm.
but it was there.
That is true. But again, it's kind of hard to do that now because I remember. Uh, did Ultra Street Fighter 4 had certain like off the wall moves?
It had a few. Like Jeremy had one. Um, uh, Hugo had one, of course.
Right. Yeah, Hugo definitely did have one.
But there were few and far in between, and it seemed like for the alpha version of Street Fighter V, that was going to be more of a thing because Chun-Li had at least two or three,
Yeah.
and I think Ryu had one. I think his standard light kick was one.
Right. I also didn't like the fact that they changed Chun Li from what she originally was from like the initial footage that they showed at E3 or even before that, where he was able to do her critical art and then still combo while you was in the air with her. That
Yeah,
was a
which
unique property that
that
should
was
stood in the game.
that was a Marvel versus Capcom 3 thing that she had,
Yeah.
and I was happy to see that there because Marvel 3 Chun is probably my favorite version of her.
Marvel 3 Chun, I would have to say CVS 2 Chun because of the different isms that you're able to pick to make a broken. And probably
That's the only reason why I would say that because the Marvel 3 Chun was a total package type of thing. That's what you got, and she seemed very fun there. But CVS 2 Chun is definitely up there for me as well, but only because like she's separated across the isms.
right. If we had to pick a game that wasn't the graded from that, I would probably have to say Street Fighter Third Strike. That Chun Li was ridiculous in damage output and just like in general, like she was strong.
Yeah, she was strong, but she also had like what you typically see of Chun-Li's toolkit.
Yeah, if you're
I
talking about diversity, there's a lot of
mhm.
different games that you can play that will feature certain things. But Marvel 3 Chun was definitely out there.
Yeah, she had the air like the legs. She could follow up her what is now her critical art here into an air combo. She also had the Kiko Hankin, which was a crumple. It was a new move for her,
Mm-hmm.
and that move you probably never going to see the light of day of again. Just like Ryu's Jordan Geki, his donkey kick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate because I did like that crumple move. And
Yeah.
I wish it was brought in Street Fighter Five as a regular move to do.
Right. But then that would kind of change the dynamic course of how the game is going to be played if there were
Yeah.
wall bounces or like crumple states where let's say like for an example like in Dead or Alive or in Tekken when you get someone next to a corner they'll stay stuck there for a little while and then you get to do other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that would make the game slightly broken for certain characters as of right now who's in the roster, but
Yeah. And there are modders right now that are messing with stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
So I'm sure I can possibly see what Street Fighter Five would have been like that if it continued to have those things.
Yep.
Because it seemed like Chun Li was figured out in the alpha in like 2 minutes. Once who was Mike Ross fighting? Was it Combo Fiend?
Of when
Uh, during the alpha when they figured out Chun Li was Morgan 2.0 during V Trigger.
yeah, it was Combo Fiend. They had that
Right.
little uh tutor session thing where I forgot what show they was on. I'm not sure if it's like IGN or something like that. They was like coaching two other people, and they was like the coaches for them, and they had I think like 3 or 4 episodes, and then they played when they did that. So
Yeah, and that's probably why they changed Chun Li's V Trigger to work the way it does.
right.
I I still would have liked the spinning bird kick change in V Trigger
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
because
believe that.
it changed into Tenshokyuku during V Trigger in the alpha,
Right.
and I like that, but it's unfortunate because her moveset changes from game to game. Like you'll get one toolkit that is has Hazanshu and has Tenshokyuku, and then come next game, those are moves are just gone.
Right. Right.
Uh, Sleeky Jim says the King of Fighters has some extra hit moves. I think, at least double hits. Yeah, there are some moves in King of Fighters that has that, like Iori's follow up super thing. Because
Yeah.
forgive me, I have no idea what those moves are called. They all have ridiculously long names.
Yeah. Iori had something like that. Maximum had something like that. Um, what's the other fucking dude's name?
Uh,
I know Andy had one a long time ago. I don't know about now.
it doesn't seem like he has that anymore.
Yeah, some characters still benefit from the double hit shit.
Yeah, but like we're not talking about like chaining one super into an X. No, there's supers that have specific follow ups to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. What was another change that I would want? Because like they pretty much gave the characters that I wanted stuff from their Marvel side to be in the game. Like Chun Li had her air like the legs. Um, Ken had his hurricane kick from back in the day. Akuma has Marvel esque combos. Guile has Charlie's old Sonic Blade super. Um, Zangief has his air grab, and Dalsum has his air float.
Mm-hmm.
So so they definitely did their work there, and I'm happy for that. And sure, like Ryu doesn't have the crazy type of super thing he had in Marvel 3, but he has something similar enough. More so since it does power up his critical art, so it's not a problem there.
I see.
But
I
yeah,
see.
just more stuff like that. I want them to do what Killer Instinct did, but on a much smaller level, because from what Killer Instinct did, it was a seasonal change of the character's entire toolkits. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think the Street Fighter community is ready for something like that.
Right.
I'm sure, like, if they patched in the next patch that okay, Ryu now has his donkey kick, and that's just his one new move, people wouldn't be upset.
No.
If 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 Guile had a target combo that's now his opening gambit from the EX games, I don't think that would be a problem with people.
No, like one or two moves is not gonna hurt nobody, but if the character
Right.
goes through a drastic change, then it's gonna kind of
Yeah.
affect them. Especially when the Capcom Pro Tour season is now among us, and
Hmm.
the full details will be coming up on this Monday. So you guys stay
Okay.
tuned for that.
A good example of that is Full Gore's changes from season to season.
Oh boy, that
Yeah.
motherfucker went through a drastic change.
Right. Like I'm not looking for something like that. I'm looking for something along the lines of Jago, where now his instinct mode gave him new properties on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the sort of thing I'm looking for, because I love and hate what they did to Armika at the same time. I
Mm-hmm.
love that they gave her new moves. I love that they gave her a stunner for her V reversal. I love that they made her more of not only a wrestler, but also she feels almost like she came out of Slam Masters with the tricks that she has.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure people would love for Zank to have his bashed flat back.
Oh my god, if he had that in one other move, or if Alex had the fucking jumping DDT where I could do from the ground, or if I had the thing where I can hold back and hit heavy punch to fucking command grab you with like his arm and just like headbutt you.
Yeah, I think the spiral DDT should be cha- uh like flash kick charge, but holding the grab,
Yeah, yeah.
and that will totally justify having his stun headbutt to do more stun, the spiral DDT to do more damage, and if they actually fixed it, um his stomp to be like his flying overhead slash cross up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think him having the weaknesses that he has now, it would justify him having those weaknesses.
Right.
And it wouldn't be something that would change the way he plays completely. It just gives him a brand new tool. And I think that is what Capcom needs to go with. Not changing the character's game plans altogether, just giving them tools to continue on with their game plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because for what we have now, some characters' V skills are just way more focused to what their main goal is in the fight than others.
Right.
Chun Li's is very situational. Ryu's is not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so long as you're very skilled with it.
Right,
Um,
right.
you have Ken Zone, which is which would be more situational than Rashid's,
Mm-hmm.
because Rashid's has way more versatility towards it. You have Urians, which is a good thing to have stocked whenever you can, but it's
Right.
not necessarily something that's detrimental to his gameplay. He'll still do a ton of damage regardless. Meanwhile, you have Bison's own, which is not necessarily anything. It's just an extra tool in his pocket
Mm-hmm.
to fight people with projectiles or people that want to jump in on him if you feel like using it for that purpose.
Right.
And um, it's like this was something with Capcom that was just tacked on for the hell of it, because when you compare it to Guilty Gear, which has something like this, but not in the way that people think, which is just certain moves that characters have. Like, uh, who was the one with the pool? It's not Faust. It's not Venom, is it?
But the
Is,
pools, like the pool
with the pool
balls.
sticks?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was Venom.
is it Venom? It's
Mm-hmm.
Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, him setting that up is part of his game plan. It's part of his toolkit, and it's a specific thing that is necessary for him to do. And had he been a Street Fighter character, that probably would have been his V skill. And Blaze Blue takes this to a whole nother level where the drive system is a V skill that totally encompasses what the character is.
Mm-hmm.
And that in comparison just makes the V skill system very short sighted in some ways.
Right.
Characters like Ragnar, who has the lowest amount of health of the entire cast, but he can constantly keep his health up with his drive system, is very specific to him.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, a character like Noel, who doesn't do the most damage, has a chain system that makes it easy for her to get damage in various ways. And this is something that Capcom just didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because it would take too much away from what Street Fighter is, or maybe people wouldn't have wanted that.
Right.
And I think that the latter there is probably the the justification for it. I don't think the pros would have latched on to this game if what their characters were depended so much on their V system.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think on this? Do you think the V system needs to improve in some way or form? Like, be it how some suggest that it should be like the way the isms were, where you have multiple ones of them, or the groove system where you have multiple, or should it be stronger in some way? Maybe.
Hmm. If I was to try to incorporate it to where that it has three different isms, like A-ism, V-ism, and X-ism, that would just basically be Street Fighter Alpha 3 all over again, where there'll be one
Right.
strong, one combo heavy, and one normal neutral.
And I think a lot of people just want a parry Vism, and it would just end up being third strike for a lot of people.
And that is true, but a lot of characters in the game already have a semi-parry system, which a lot of characters do also have armor for people who don't have the parry. So again, certain characters vary with certain abilities and skill, but I think the V trigger as what it stands now is fine. I would just fine tune it for some characters, because there's some characters out there that only have up to 2 bars for V trigger. Some of them have 3. So some characters have better defensive options than others. So I would like it to be 3 across the board for every character. That's just my opinion as of if I had to make that choice to make it easier so everyone has the same, break cancel ability so they won't be undermined. Like Karen only has 2, but Bison has 3. That means I have 1 extra option to fucking defend myself with compared to her.
Right. And on top of that, you have more health than her, so you could take a few more hits if you're not actively using your V skill.
Yeah, that's also true.
So, yeah, I sort of agree with you there. I wouldn't necessarily make it 3. I would think I would keep it 2 across the board for everyone, but the meter system for it, just make it a little bit more. Like, not necessarily as low as 2, but not necessarily as high as 3.
Okay, I think I understand. Would you rather have the timer for the V trigger when it's active to go down a little bit slower than what it normally does when you consume moves in it? Or do you think it's fine where it stands?
I think it depends on the character. Like, for Guile, I would rather have stocks. Like, let me have this many side booms at all times, like a gun, and just never have it again.
I see. Okay.
And then there are characters like Chun-Li where, yeah, it's better for her to have it on a timer.
Mm-hmm.
A character like Ryu, again, it should be on the timer.
Like with Cammy, it's different. It's like basically it doesn't waste until you use any special move twice.
Right. And I think it should just be stocks in general for Cammy. Like, it should just be there for people necessarily to fear her having it.
Mm-hmm.
But it unless like she is playing at her top, it's not necessarily the end of the world because you, as far as I know, can you do EXs when you have that set?
With who, Chun-Li or Cammy?
With Cammy? Like, I don't think you could do EX moves. Like, all of your cannon spikes and cannon drills will always be...
I think it will just be normal. I don't think EXs have an impact on it. I'm not too sure. Like, I really don't play Cammy that often.
Right. When I play her, I can't do the EXs at all.
So,
but I have it on a shortcut, so I don't know if it's the shortcut doing that, or if it's just that's how it works, where you have it set.
Yeah, probably when the next time we do another topic like this next week, I can bring that up as a update because right now I have zero idea if that's something that she can do. What's up, Megasonic?
Okay, hello, Mega. You missed a bit of the podcast unless you were watching, and I just didn't notice. Yeah, there's some characters that could benefit from that, and then there are characters like Urian. Urian could be stock. There's really no reason for him to have it on a timer. That timer goes down so slow to begin with, and when a Urian uses it, he's likely had it perfectly timed for a specific situation anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And when I mean by stocks, I don't mean like not only do they have like for Guile, not only would he have the sonic booms, he would also be able to convert that back into meter for a V reversal. I mean, once you have it, like the Kali, except it's not infinite. It's just there until you decide to use it.
Right, I see what you're saying. But Nakali is the only one that has the infinite one because the transformation itself just makes him stronger.
Right, and their whole thing was that they're trying to make every one of the V triggers unique, and what makes his unique is supposedly his being infinite.
Yeah, he's the only character so far that has that feature.
Yeah, Yeah, so far. Uh, but I think they may be losing steam there.
Maybe.
We'll see because Ryu, Ken, and Akuma's more or less do the same thing as far
Mm,
as I can tell. Like sure, like Ryu's it puts up your stun immediately, crazy fast, but um, Ken and Akuma really are more focused to like just being more powerful.
in a sense, but the difference between that is Akuma gets a better properties with certain moves that he wasn't able to actually do. Like the uppercut changes completely. The
Right, it gets a follow up.
being able to do the fireball either by jumping backwards or jumping forward in midair changes. There's a lot of thing that does change within that. You
It's a
know,
fair point. All right, you can have that one definitely. I retract that statement there. Uh, what else do we have? The yeah, everybody's V skill so far seems different, but in a way they're kind of looking a bit similar depending on the character.
mm-hmm.
Like I honestly don't know. Uh, if a character like Charlie would even benefit for having a second uh a second use of his V meter, like his V trigger, because
Maybe.
he seems to do enough damage. Like unless they weaken him to the point of inusability, I think he's probably just fine.
I mean, he's fine right now, but I don't think his V trigger needs another teleport. That would kind of be like, oh, I could teleport here. Here I go. Here I go. Like that. That's too many getaway moves,
That is true.
in my opinion.
Because he already has his V reversal that technically does that already.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as good, but it still does that.
Right.
But yeah, speaking of V reversals, I probably would want Chun-Li's V reversal to change. I can never get that thing to work correctly and not have it be blown up in my face.
Well, there's certain characters that have certain V reversals that could get grabbed. Not every character has
Oh.
that, ability to be free.
No, not necessarily that. I mean the fact that like she just pushes them away a bit, and it's not enough to like really get them out of your face.
Well, from what I heard, they nerfed that. They used to push them a far greater distance back in season one. I heard they nerfed it in season two specifically.
Yeah, it's nerfed in season two,
Mm-hmm.
and even season one, it seemed kind of iffy because like there was one match I had in season one where I did that to a VU player, and he did critical art, and immediately I got hit afterwards.
Right.
So I think something has to be done about that, be it like more distance or maybe a knockdown of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But something has to be done to that in some way. And I know they said V reversals are not get out of jail cards, but a, they really have the affinity for screwing you over more often than not.
Yeah, in certain cases with some characters, they do get fucking hurt more than getting protected and getting away.
Yeah, and I think just the probability of that needs to be tightened up a bit more.
Right.
You know, like more active frames or like uh more recovery on it or something. Just less recovery on it, but just something needs to be done to help.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause how many times have I grabbed people out of their V reversal? How many times have we seen people get punished for using their V reversal at either what looked like the right time or just wasn't?
Yeah,
It's something that needs to be fixed as part of the V system.
that
Oh
is
yeah,
true.
yeah. The V system right now, it needs some work, but I don't think it needs work as far as revolving the character's game plan around that.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are comfortable with Street Fighter playing traditionally Street Fighter, and for the most part, that's been Street Fighter since Street Fighter 4, I guess,
Right.
because that one was supposedly supposed to play like a boxing match, a chess match, and closest to Street Fighter 2.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, from the commentary and from some matches, you did see that aspect. So I'd say like they got the idea down. As
Right.
far as Street Fighter 5 is concerned, I think this game still needs a lot of work. Uh and Capcom is so lucky that it has a community that is able to put up with this. Most games that are on the lower end spectrum would have died by now.
Right.
And I hope Capcom knows that, and I hope Capcom doesn't let people down come season 2, especially with this balance patch. I think as far as what they need to do is again bring in one new competitive mode of some sort and one new casual mode of some sort. Uh, Competitive wise, it was fixing the lobby system so that it had 8 player lobbies, and the system for the rank matches in order to make that more enjoyable. The rage quit system, which I felt should have been there from in the first place, and from casual's perspective was added in the story mode. So I think they need to do a system like that of adding one new casual element and one new competitive element every season.
Mm-hmm.
And by season 5, we'll definitely have something that resembles a complete game.
Right.
One other thing they have to fix is the error code thing. That's still going on. They said it was fixed, and I get that all the time. It was another reason besides the way people rage quit in ranked and decide to play ranked. That was a reason because I fight through the day of dealing with people in ranked match, and I don't get any fight money sometimes, and I don't get any experience points sometimes. And if I'm losing, at least I get experience points, which will then level up the character, which may give me fight money, or will help me go towards that level 40 or 50 color.
Yeah, 50.
And I swear, I probably would have had my Chun Li at level 30 by now if it wasn't for the fact that I was getting the error message 10 times in a row, even after it was supposedly fixed. And I've tried everything. I've tried changing um my firewall options. I've tried looking up online to see what else I could do, and it pretty much came down to the same thing. You just have off days.
Right.
So so if anything was to change right now, if I could have one particular thing that I know can be changed, it would probably be that. Because that ruins even a bad experience. You can have such an off day and as a casual not win any matches, and you can't even see your character level go up. You can't see your ratings go up. You sometimes lose your match recordings because of that. So you have no idea what you did wrong in the previous match because you can't go back to that match in the replay system and look it over if you even bothered to do that.
Man, it's very, very unfortunate for people, for them having that error message thing pop up. It happens a lot with people recently. I mean, it's sometimes due to their own internet, sometimes due to router configuration, sometimes it's just the server itself, sometimes it's depending on if you're playing on Steam or if you're playing on the PlayStation. It is many things, but I would like it for it to be a minimum.
Right. Like honestly, the week or so when it was happening 5, 10 times in a row, I can't do the missions because it's not registering that I even did the mission. Was when I decided I'm not doing this anymore. Direct mode gives me a headache anyway, and now I can't even level up my character. I can't even do the mission. So that's 3 different ways I can't earn fight money. One is of my own skill, and 2 is because of the system. So it's not necessarily a complaint, it's just me wanting to see that fixed. Not just for myself, but for anyone else that gets that problem. And I'm sure it's something that not a lot of people think about anyway because, well, most people care about winning and improving their skill. But for the average Joe that may have just picked up the game, it may be a thing that bothers them. Alright. So, what about you? Is there any particular one thing that you know that can be fixed that you want to get fixed in Street Fighter 5?
Netcode.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I want the netcode to either be fixed from whatever service that they're using, which I think is fucking shit. But I would think that they should switch it to a GGPO system. It's proven its worthiness because, one, it tells you the latency right there of how much ping the person will have by a numerical value, not by a bar. A bar can be misconstrued in many different ways. But a numerical value would help on screen like it does with MKX and soon to be in Injustice 2. I will also like it for, like, let's say for an example, when you're getting your match, instead of just showing like, oh, here comes a new challenger, and it just shows the bars, it should say the person's gamer tag, their disconnect ratio, and their ping status.
All very good options. All very good options that should be there. Because other fighting games have this to a degree. Yeah. Like I know DOA, when you see a name come up, it'll have their gamer tag, it'll have their current connection status, and I believe it has their win-loss ratio.
Yes.
And I don't know what Killer Instinct does.
Killer Instinct just basically shows you like their rank, their level of what they are with their character, and that's pretty much it. You won't see a win and loss ratio and whatnot, and it doesn't show like the internet connection. You're just expected to get good ones, and the netcode for KI is really good. You have your subpar shit matches, which is very rare. MKX, same thing. You have your win loss ratio, their disconnect ratio, and you see their connection of ping. Older fighting games on the 360 that was re-releases has done this as well, like Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, Darkstalkers Resurrection, Third Strike Online Edition. So, you have a couple things that they should take into consideration.
I'm pretty sure like it's going to be the same for Guilty Gear, but I know BlazBlue gives you the person's entire ID system for that game. So when the person comes up, it will tell you who the person is, who is their preferred character, what is their win-loss ratio with this character, and other things among that for the game, because you choose like Street Fighter, you choose who you want to play, and that's the character that you start on. But you do have the ability to pick whoever you want,
Right.
so you can see who's the person's like main,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go to the roster to see who you want to fight, depending on that, or if they even bother to change their character.
Right.
And I think Capcom kind of has to do this to some degree, of some sort, be it allowing people to keep it the way they have it set, as in this is the character I want to play. I don't want to go to a character select screen, or allow them to have their favorite character set, just like how they have the ability to buy like character profiles on their profile as a template,
Mm-hmm.
and that lets people know in a way that this is their favorite character, along with things like titles.
Well, they do have the preferred character thing in Street Fighter Five. It's just sometimes people choose, different characters while they're switching out of rank or casual matches. You have to stay with whatever character you do pick, but in a lobby match, you have the option to pick whoever character you want. Same thing, Blaze Blue does the same thing. Like, it has your preferred character, and if you want to switch after or, before the match, you have that option. Not
Right.
many games give you that selected option, though.
hmm Okay, so I'm gonna bring this topic to a close. It's run on a bit longer than I thought it would. I can't believe I say that every week.
It's been an hour and 21 minutes.
Good grief. Uh, don't seem to have any questions this week, so I'll leave it as that. Uh, well, my closing statement about the state of Street Fighter Five. I've been a person that said I didn't like this game. I didn't like the way that Capcom was going about it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a great game for the competitive audience and a horrible video game for the casuals, and I still hold to that. Like when I call it a bad game, I literally call it a bad video game. As far as like it being a tool for competitive aspects, oh, by far this thing is probably really solid, really good. And I really hope that this sentiment changes by the end of season 2, because it's not going to get better in the middle. It's not going to get better right now because there's going to be a patch on the way. People still have to get used to that patch. Like, case in point, people had to get used to the fact that Armika and Ryu and Charlie were all over the place with people.
Mm-hmm.
And what did people do? They learned, they adapt, they moved on. And I feel like this could have been the same way for what you have now with season 2. But if they're going to have it changed, I'm not going to complain about it.
Right.
I just hope that the change is a good change, and not something where people are going to say this made it even worse. And again, Capcom has possibly the most understanding fighting game community in general, because other games would have died by now, and I hope that they realize that when they go about fixing this game. That this game really shouldn't have been in the state that it was when it came out, as far as a video game is concerned, and I hope they understand that.
Right.
Any closing statement from you?
Just play what you like to play. Don't care about certain things that goes on in the game unless if you're hardcore within that community of whatever game you're having vast interest in. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, this is the end of this topic. I would have done something like this for KI, but given the fact that I have absolutely no idea when KI does this in the first place. Plus, this is a new segment. This kind of just fell into my lap because I started the show when season 1 was a thing, and it's pretty early on in Street Fighter V's life to have this, and it's pretty knowledgeable on the potential guests that I could have had. So, if you want us to talk about this concerning like other games when they have balance patches, let me know, and I will see what I can do to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Also,
So-
I would like to make mention before we forget, because this was something that was discussed off stream a few days ago. If you guys would like to come on the show to do an on-air conversation with both myself and T-Risk, please let us know in the comment section below on YouTube, or send a direct message on Twitch of the New Gaming Order Twitch channel. We will get you in on the next show if we have time, and you could be a part of the show to ask questions, or not just one person but several other viewers that would probably have airtime.
I would like to reiterate, like, the style of this show is supposed to be like a radio talk show, so this is just another means to advance that concept. Therefore, if you have a question that you want to ask live, or if there's something that you want to say live, please let us know. Again, title of the show is Hear Me Out. It's not just necessarily to me or Nelson, but also to you guys. If there's something you want to say, if there's a subject you want us to discuss, let us know. That's literally the show. Just let us know, and we'll do what we can to talk about it, or allow you to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Alright. So, I think that covers everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, thank you all for tuning in. Let's see, who do I give shoutouts to? As my viewer list decides to load in.
You have Mr. King Piccolo, you have Slinky Jim, you have Megasonic, and Playboy wasn't here earlier.
Okay. Yeah, King Piccolo, that's what I keep constantly seeing on this show. Nice to have you around. And of course, all the others that are mainstays as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Nelson already said, thank you all for tuning in. This has been episode 8 of Hear Me Out. Next week is, unless plans change again, Hear Me Out will be in the morning. If not, it will be around this same time.
Right.
With that said, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for hearing me out. Okay, now you want to ask the questions.
This will be the final question before he dips out, so you can answer this and then we'll dip.
Okay. Absolver. I know the name. Just give me a second to actually look up what it even is.
He said he asked earlier.
Oh, did he? I apologize. I didn't actually see it. Absolver.
Game by Ubisoft.
Yeah, I recall this game. It's some sort of martial arts style of MMO, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
This is made by Ubisoft Paris. It's apparently coming on Steam and also PS4, Xbox One, Linux, stuff like that. There's not much more on the game as what people would like to know. If you go to the official website, they have like a little animated gift where it shows you things and stuff like that. It says fluid real-time combat, customizable style and flow, multiplayer action and narrative, PvP and PvE style, and it's an independent company.
Alright. As for this game in particular, I am looking forward to it. I just know that unless things change for me, I'm not going to be able to play this game because it's probably going to be on PC only.
Well, it's
So,
coming to consoles from what they're trying to push.
push, but I could see this being like it's going to be on PC for like a year or two, and then it'll be on consoles.
Possibility.
This with these MMOs, it tends to be that way, and it's looking better than what I is it Blade and Soul ended up being. It was I think Blade and Soul is the other martial arts Korean MMO.
I know what you're talking about. Black Desert, probably.
No, not Black Desert. Black Desert's the one with the ultra customization features, right?
Yeah, but it's still a MMO.
Yeah. No, Blade and Soul was the anime looking one,
Right. Okay.
where you could like run on walls and like run on and like kind of glide through the air on like wind streams and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think you had like fox characters and like human characters, and it was very wushu looking.
Right. I remember.
Yeah, I think this game has the ability to potentially be better than those. Um, Being that it's not using it's possibly not going to be using the Korean style of microtransactions.
Yeah, it might take on something else. Never know. I mean, the game is still in its early development stage. There's not much information on it. That's why they have an official website asking you to sign up to like their newsletter. So when anything does come about,
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, it's on my radar. It's just that it's so low on my radar because it's a PC game, and I currently have the inability to do PC games. But yeah, it's one that's on my list. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to just trying it out. It's an MMO. How bad could it be to try it out? Like, if if it's a free to play one, or just have like the extra income ready to try it for a month
Right.
and see if I like it or not.
Right.
So that's how I have a tendency to feel with MMOs. But to give you just a better answer, I am looking forward to this. It looks generally fun, interesting, and for the most part unique. Not a lot of MMOs are doing this sort of like combat style thing. It's a new thing. I would say, at least for the Western MMOs.
Right.
Okay.
Now we can close out. So I guess I'll take over from here since you've been on a talk spree with that. Thank you guys for all your questions, your feedback. We're trying to upgrade the show as much as possible. You know, day by day, we think of new things behind the scenes, and we'll let you guys know if anything does come, to mind based on your feedback within YouTube and the direct messages on the New Gaming Order Twitch channel. As of that note, this has been episode 8 of Hear Me Out. You have heard T-Risk, you have heard myself, Mugen Ketsuki, and hopefully in episode 9 we'll have something more of a topic to engage with the viewers. Today was a pretty good turnout. Shout outs to Slinky Jim, shout outs to Playboy, shout outs to my cousin
King
Megasonic, and shout outs to Mr. King Piccolo lurking in chat. So with that being said, you heard us out. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Today was a little bit different within the scheduling, so it may be earlier next week. It may not be. It's all depending. So we'll let you guys know in the upcoming days. On that note, yeah.
Do you have anything to pitch, like your channel or whatever?
Not necessarily.
Because this footage is yours.
Yeah, I mean, the footage is sponsored by me, and I'm giving access to, New Gaming Order to, have the footage for certain particular things. If I did have to pitch at my channel, just if you don't already follow Mugen _Ketsuki Twitch channel, I do a variety of games. I'm trying to make it more of a schedule-based system, so you guys could come in on certain days. Like, let's say one day would be specifically for fighters, one day would be specifically towards like RPGs, variety day, console specific, Metal Gear Solid day with different Metal Gear games, different variety stuff. So yeah, if you guys can, just follow Mugen_Ketsuki on Twitch if you have not already. And yeah, I stream there frequently, and I also stream on here when Hear Me Out happens, Friday Night Fights, and the NGO weekly podcast happens.
Okay. Alright.
So yeah, thank you guys again for like the 15,000th time, and we'll see you next week, hopefully around 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. If not, probably around the same time as we started the podcast, which was an hour and 35 minutes ago, so around 7 p.m.
Right.
All right, guys, later.